What's up guys, it's Josh from Blackout Tinting, and behind me today we have a very special car. When we get something really cool into the shop, I try my best to film some stuff about it and share it with you so you can see it up close and personal. This is a car you've probably never seen before and may never see one in your life because there's only 350 of these ever made. I don't even know if they're all manufactured yet at this point because it is brand new. So this is the McLaren 620R. There's a couple things that make this a very special McLaren as opposed to just the McLaren 600 LT or the 570S. So I'm gonna take you through sort of what makes this car the 620R and also why it's here and what we did on this car. So the first thing that you'll probably notice is the exterior styling of this car is extremely aggressive. You've got carbon fiber splitters on the front, carbon fiber canards on the side, and the big elephant in the room is the big, huge carbon fiber roof scoop on the top of the car. Now this did come on the 600 LT, I believe is an option, but on the 620R, I was finding conflicting things when I was doing some research. Some said it's standard on the 620R, some say it's an option, but it is a functional scoop that forces air down into the intake, and you can see on the inside of the car, there are big carbon fiber intake tubes that are like right above your head basically. That's really cool. Not too often you see a roof scoop, and even less often that you see one that actually works, but that's the heart and soul of this car. It is designed for function. This is a thoroughbred track car, similar to the 600 LT that was designed for track use, but this one is way more hardcore. So if the 600 LT is made for your enthusiast that's maybe gonna do some driver's ed events, take the car to the track on the weekend, this one's made practically for the professional driver. So what McLaren did is they took the 600 LT GT4 version, which is a pure race car that competes in the GT4 spec class, and they took that car and they added actually slightly more horsepower to it, and then they said, let's make this thing street legal. So thank you, McLaren, for bringing us purebred race cars to drive on the street. We're happy about that. With that being said, there comes some sacrifices. Some creature comforts, I guess you could say. Number one, we've got our compound Pirelli P0 Trofeo Rs. So these tires are going to grip very well, but they're not going to wear very well. So obviously you're not gonna be probably daily driving this car, but if you do, probably gonna be putting new tires on it pretty frequently. You can also get as an option from the factory, non-street legal slicks. So if you're buying this car just to go on the track, McLaren's already got you taken care of when you order the car. Of course, we've got this massive carbon fiber wing on the back for downforce. That's what part of the reason that this car is such a track monster, the downforce that thing generates. But in order to achieve the top speed of 200 miles per hour, you actually have to adjust this to its lowest downforce setting, because if it's adjusted differently, there's too much downforce on the car and it won't allow you to achieve that top speed. So I thought that was an interesting little fact. So you'll notice the graphics on the exterior of the car, and that was not done by us. That is from factory, that you can order that as an option. Fun fact, we looked into removing those so that we could do our paint protection film wrap first and then lay the graphics on top, and those graphics are $4,700 just for the vinyl from McLaren. So I know how much vinyl costs, and that is crazy, but I guess that's what you get. You gotta pay to play with something like this. Speaking of paying, this car is certainly not priced cheap. This is a $299,000 starting price before options. And of course, I'm sure there are some options. I don't know what the sticker on this particular one was, but I'm sure options aren't cheap. On the back of the wing, one thing that we did, this is normally blue or like a purplish blue color, and the owner of the car wanted it to match the rest of the orange on the car. So that's what we did. We custom cut a new R out of 3M bright orange, which matched pretty much perfect. I think that may even be the exact same material they used from the factory. We got that done. We also wrapped down here, this is supposed to be blue. Basically anywhere where there's an R, it's blue. We wrapped this to match. So everything on the car now matches that white, orange, and black color scheme. Okay, speaking of what we did on the car, so on the exterior, the customer brought this in for us to protect the entire thing. So front to back, top to bottom, we've wrapped it with XPEL Ultimate Plus paint protection film. That includes areas like the inside the bottom of this scoop, the whole way back to here is wrapped. Of course, this front lip is protected. Even up underneath here, which was very difficult to squeegee, but that is protected as well. The A-pillars, the roof, the hood, the headlights, and down here on these carbon pieces, XPEL makes awesome patterns, and they've even got stuff that comes the whole way up here. I can't even feel the seam. There's a seam back here somewhere. I know that because I put it on, but their patterns are just phenomenal. So everything that you see here is protected. You'll notice the camera at the front of the car, and there's another camera inside. Let me show you that. So inside the car, there's actually a camera back here that's mounted to the roof, as well as the one that you saw on the bumper, and the reason for that is because McLaren gives you this cool little McLaren branded flash drive, which you can plug in right here in the center console. That is part of the McLaren track telemetry system. That allows you to film on the track, or really anytime you want, I guess, and it shows you things like the speed that you're going and your RPMs and all that stuff, almost like a video game heads-up display on the bottom of the screen. So it sort of ties all that together. Very, very cool if you're somebody that likes to use your car on the track and see what's going on with the car, how fast you're going, because when you're hitting a turn at 120 miles an hour, you don't have time to look down at the speedometer, but it's still pretty cool to know how fast you're going. So inside of the car, one of the things that makes this the 620R is all of the weight saving stuff that they did. So to put that into perspective, this car only weighs 3,055 pounds, which is extremely light for any type of street legal car. The Porsche 911, for instance, is 3,350 pounds, which is a relatively light car. The Corvette C8, which you're probably very familiar with, that one's 3,650. And the Hellcat Challenger, they call them fat cats for a reason, that one's 4,400 pounds. This thing is super light. It's 1,500 pounds lighter than a Hellcat with almost the same horsepower. So they've stripped out all the carpet, and everything, of course, is carbon fiber, but I think that's true on the 600 LT and the 720S and all of that. One thing that sticks out prominently are these carbon fiber fixed back bucket seats. So there is virtually no adjustment on these things. It's front and back, and that's it. It's a little bit difficult to get in and out of, but once you're in, it's actually not bad. Have you ever seen a car come from factory with 5-point harnesses already installed? Because I don't know that I have, besides maybe the super light SLC that we had in here. That's sort of a purpose-built track car. I guess this is too, but you can go right on the showroom floor and pick this thing up, and it's got a 5-point harness as well as a harness bar already installed, so super cool. Speaking of the harness, a couple people in the shop have asked, what the heck is this thing for? This is so when you're strapped into the car in that 5-point harness, if you've ever done that, you know you really can't move. You're pretty much totally pinned to the seat. You can't reach this handle to shut the door. So this strap is here so that you can still shut your door. For even more weight saving, McLaren has decided to get rid of the glove box altogether. You don't need to store anything inside the car apparently at all. So you have a slot that's open on the center console. That's where you can keep your license, registration, and proof of insurance that I'm sure you're never going to need driving this thing on the street. One thing that I like, I don't know why it's this way, I have to ask the owner of the car. There's a gold pedal, a gold gas pedal. I have no idea why. It's the only thing on the car that's gold. It might just be a signature accent for the 620R, but I haven't seen that before, and I think it looks pretty cool. So getting in isn't too bad. You just sort of have to drop in to the seat. And once you're inside, everything, all the touch points are Alcantara, of course. So the door, the steering wheel. So they did at least keep some luxury, I guess, in that respect. And the stitching is nice. And this one comes with the optional sound system. I think it's, yeah, Bowers & Wilkins sound system. And from what I read, it's like a $4,700 option if this is the same. But they said over like 50 miles per hour, there's no sound deadening in this car. So it becomes almost irrelevant, but at the same time, I'm kind of thinking if you're driving this, do you really want to listen to music? You probably want to hear the engine. So inside the console is super simple, like most McLarens. There's a couple of switches here for the different modes, the track mode, the standard mode, and there's a launch control button, and you have your shifting selectors. There's also a button for the front storage compartment, or the frunk. It's interesting to me that they did keep that. I guess there's nothing else you could do with that area anyhow. So that's pretty cool that you can have this track car and still have somewhere to store things in the front of the car. So I was gonna put the 5-point harness on to show you that. They're like zip tied up from the factory, and I don't want to be the guy to undo them if the owner would like that honor. Over here on the door, you've got two buttons. One of them on the top opens up the engine compartment, I guess, and that's this. This is it. This is all you get of the engine from McLaren. You can put oil, and you can put, I believe that's coolant. Yep, oil and coolant, that's it. That's all they want you to care about on this thing. Other than that, take it to the McLaren dealer and have them work on it. So I guess they don't want people playing. I honestly don't even know how you would get to it. I'm assuming you'd have to actually disassemble the rear wing and this entire cover on top there to do really anything on the engine. So the other button on this car is the anti-towing security system disable button, which basically I guess means that this car probably has some tilt sensors and things built into it, so if somebody tries to steal the car, it will alert you. By hitting that button, I guess that probably bypasses that. It's actually hard to find some info on exactly what that means online, but and the owner, he told me it was for towing, so I guess that just means that if you're going to tow the car, you need to disable that security system, so you have to hit that button. I thought that was interesting. So this has the same power plant that McLaren uses in some other cars. It's a 3.8 liter V8, which is a pretty small V8, but of course it's got twin turbos, and it's putting out about 620 horsepower, 0 to 60 in under 3 seconds. Some say 2.8, some say 2.9. Either way, it is wicked fast. It runs a quarter mile in just over 10 seconds, so while it might not be the fastest thing in the world in a straight line, it's pretty freaking fast. But of course, you're not going to stop at 60 miles per hour in this car, so it does 0 to 124 miles per hour in just 8.1 seconds. So the thing is a rocket. We're not gonna have a chance to take this one for a ride, unfortunately, but maybe the owner from Midnight Sun Supercars will take me for a ride at some point. Of course, when you go fast, you also need to stop fast. So this car is equipped with carbon ceramic brakes, which you probably have guessed that with the price tag that it comes with. So those will stop you very quickly. It also has a dual clutch gearbox, so shifting happens very seamlessly. Some of the things that I read and watched on this car said you almost can't even tell it's shifting. It shifts so smoothly. So that's very, very cool and makes for a very fast track run. So one interesting thing about this car that I learned is the fuel mileage, which I guess with a smaller V8 like that has, only a 3.8 liter, you kind of expect it, but they claim a combined fuel mileage of 23 miles per gallon on this thing, which is pretty awesome. That's like, I'm looking around the shop here, it's probably what this Impala gets. It's twice as good as my truck gets. Pretty cool. So this car also has the optional front end lift, which you can see is lifted up right here. We had it on and off the lift and pulling into the garage here. There's a small dip where there's a drain, so we keep that up for the most part while we're moving it around. Also, one other thing that makes the 620R unique is that it has an adjustable suspension setup, but not like you'd expect. There's no button or dial inside to fine-tune the suspension system. On this thing, you actually have to get out, and I guess there's a way to click the dampers to adjust the suspension for the track. So it is really track focused. So in addition to the full XPEL Ultimate Plus wrap that you see here, we also tinted the windows. This is done with XPEL XR series. That's a ceramic window film. It's designed to block heat. It also, of course, looks great. It's got a lifetime warranty. It will last you forever. So we use that film on most cars. That's our most popular option that we have. We didn't do anything on the windshield with this, so no clear plex and no tint on the windshield. We also did a full ceramic coating on this car with XPEL Fusion Plus. That is a 4-year ceramic coating, and what it will do is help this wrap stay protected from staining and things like that, but also make it super easy to clean. Very slick surface means that tar, bug guts, and just random grime and debris from the road will come off a lot easier with washing. So you still have to wash the car, of course, but you don't have to do it as frequently. You don't have to wax the car anymore. We also installed slip blow on the front end of this, which if you're not familiar with that is, you can see on the box, it sort of gives you a little diagram, but basically it's these small pieces of rubber. They're flexible so you can form it to the shape of the front of the car, but we mount these about an inch or so behind the bottom lip of the car, and it will protect the expensive carbon fiber splitter from hitting on things. So if you have a driveway that might have a lip in it, or just hitting a hill, or loading it on an enclosed trailer to take it to the track, whatever it might be, slip blow helps keep the car protected. Now, some people will argue, well, this makes the car lower. Yes, it does make the car lower, but this 1/8 of an inch or 1/4 of an inch is probably not going to make a difference whether you would or would not hit something. And when you do, it's hitting this, not your carbon fiber splitter. I'm a big believer in this product. I have it on some of my own cars. Patrick had it on his Golf R here at the shop, and that thing was super low, and it protected the front lip completely. So I like this stuff a lot. If you haven't, go check them. And last but not least, we installed some XPEL Stealth paint protection film to protect this carbon fiber piece as well as the seat. So you can't see it. I actually pulled back the rubber, and our edge of the film is underneath the rubber here, and it's wrapped around this edge as well. But the whole way from top, or from front to back, is protected with XPEL Stealth. So when you're getting in and out, and your feet are hitting this, and your jeans are hitting this, and whatever else is going on, this would normally get really scratched up. You don't want that to happen, especially on a flat finish carbon fiber, because it's impossible for you to polish it out. And then on the seat, we also protected this little strip. The customer didn't ask us to do this, but I noticed getting in and out of the car that you have no choice but to rub along this top edge of the seat. So there's a very thin piece from here to here of XPEL Stealth, and it comes down over this corner so you don't beat up your seats. So that's it, guys. The 620R behind me is all finished up. We've got the paint protection film done, the ceramic coating, the window tint, and some interior protection done as well. Thank you very much for watching. If you enjoy seeing some of the unique cars that come through the shop, make sure you subscribe to our channel and give us a thumbs up on this video, and we'll see you next car.